You know what time it is. Tea time. Tea time. Tea time. Tea time.
Yo, what is up? It's your boy Monty T, and welcome back to the Tea Time Podcast. On today's episode, we have the one and only Monty. And the tea today, we're going to be speaking of business, growth, leadership from the perspective of an entrepreneur. So ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome, my guest, my cousin, my brother. Let's go. What's good, man?
What's up, my brother?
Yo, listen, thank you for hopping on.
And thank you for having me, man. I appreciate you.
Of course. I really want to get into a lot of business topics and anything that you want to discuss. First off, I want to know how you got into this. What made you want to become an entrepreneur, not just follow the regular 9-to-5 route?
I guess it's your surroundings, right? Like what you see in life, how we grow up, what we're used to. It kind of rubs off on you, right? So my father, when we first came here from India, right after I was born, we moved to America. And for him, a job was never an option. He came here with a bunch of my uncles. We all lived in a 2-bedroom apartment, multiple families. Definitely not your ideal or comfortable situation, but it's life, and we get used to it and you keep pushing. But the reality of the matter is that, they all were entrepreneurs of some type. They were looking for a way to make their own money without having to answer to somebody. And the only option at the moment they had was to become jobbers. Mm-hmm. Now, if you're not familiar with what a jobber is, but essentially you go to a wholesale distributor, they give you a van full of product, and your job is to be a route-to-route salesman. Mm-hmm. Now, you would think that this is essentially working for somebody, but it's not really, but kind of is, because they're supplying you with all the tools and resources you need. You go out, long story short, you're selling product, and whatever profit you make on top of what is owed, that's yours. So you can charge as much as you want, as little as you want, but whatever is above the amount owed back to the wholesaler is yours.
Interesting.
So since I was a kid, I only saw that. I saw my dad going out, working, hustling every day from 8 o'clock in the morning, coming back at 10 p.m. at night, and barely making maybe $100, $150, but it was his own money. He decided when he worked, he decided how long he worked, he decided where he's going to work. Mm-hmm. And that work ethic kind of just, I don't know, it was the first thing I saw. It was the first sense of money I've seen in my life. It was the first concept of work and exchanging any type of time for dollars.
Makes sense. And did you always want to complete school? Like college? Did you always focus in that? Or
I'll be honest. So, our culture, and I am Indian from India, and our culture is
I thought you were Hispanic.
A lot of people do, brother, but maybe on the weekends, or if I'm on vacation. But on the weekdays, I am who I am, And I'm sorry.
It's okay. I was asking you, did you really focus in school? And did you really want
so I did focus in school.
It?
And to be honest, I just never agreed with schooling. Like the concept of school, the concept of I have to come certain times, I have to do things at like a schedule, and like you can't go to the bathroom without raising your hand, you can't bring water, like the whole system of school just felt,
I can't even tell you what to do.
I just like exactly, I don't like being told what to do, but at the same time I understood that I had to learn. And don't get me wrong, I am a true learner.
Yeah.
And part of business is learning forever. You never stop learning, and you can't stop learning, because when you learn, you adjust, and when you adjust, you're able to make a pivot in your business, whatever it may be, and that only comes from learning. If you stop learning, then you're not able to pivot, and then you're stuck in one spot.
100%.
When you're stuck in one spot, you're not adapting to change. You're not adapting to trends. You're not adapting to whoever your consumer may be, whatever type of business you may be running.
Mm-hmm. Makes sense.
So did I want to finish school? For the sake of my parents, I wanted to finish school. Mm-hmm. I always wanted to be an attorney when I was younger. I wanted to own my own law firm. I wanted to work in, for corporate businesses. I wanted to be able to go and just represent the biggest of the biggest.
I think we had this conversation in Vegas, I believe. And
we probably did. I don't doubt it.
No, we did. And I told you, you'd probably make one of the best lawyers.
I don't doubt it. And it's, if there wasn't a process of having to do a long period of schooling, which again, I don't disagree with. So if somebody likes school and somebody is good at it, you should do it. And if
100%.
you know exactly what you want to do for the rest of your life, then by all means, pursue it to the fullest and go to school, learn from the best, apply yourself fully, and you will see the results. I never want to take that away from anyone. However, I went to school. I was a straight A student. Mm-hmm. I used to get into a lot of trouble in school just because I was rebellious, not because I didn't want to apply myself, not because I wasn't smart, just because I felt like I already knew what I needed to know. I was getting hundreds and A's on tests, yet I'm still being yelled at for talking in class or something. And I felt like I'm already good at this. Like, why do I have to do this every day?
Makes sense.
And the reality is it's discipline, and discipline is one of probably the most important topics that will keep coming up in this conversation, because without discipline, you have almost nothing in life, whether it's your health, whether it's wealth, whether it's your family, you need to be disciplined. And again, like without going too far off tangent, I went to college on a full ride. I had a full ride, and it was an academic scholarship. Mind you, after the first year of college, I did lose that scholarship because I was not showing up for classes. And in college, it's different from high school. Like it was a little bit tougher.
Oh, 100%.
But if I didn't go and actually apply myself and learn the material, it was almost impossible for me to pass the classes. So like I was passing the classes, but just barely, because I would only show up on the week of a test day to catch up on reviews and then take the test. But my attendance was terrible. Like it was, again, it's a learning experience, but I
feel like we all fuck up though. So that's fine. Cause I know when I was in college, I think the first 2 years I didn't even know what to pick, what subject.
Yeah. And like, to be honest, that's kind of how that system is set up if we want to talk about college. But the first 2 years, you're expected to mess around a little bit and try different things and understand what route you want to actually major in. And then your last 2 years, you're really gripping on that major. And then if things work out, you go to the next level of schooling, which, would be your master's or your doctorate, whatever it may be, and you just like, it's essentially becoming an expert in whatever field it is. For me, I felt like I wanted to be a lawyer, but then I kept thinking about the fact that I'm going to have to do another 4 years of school, then another 3 years of law school, then I'm going to have to pass the bar, then I have to go and work as an associate. Like, it's such a long process to become an attorney. And again, like, to everyone who does it, God bless you. But now at this point, I also started to realize that there was other ways to make the same financial success happen without having to go through that rigorous of a process. And truth be told, now I just hire attorneys. Like I can hire those attorneys. And to be honest, I work very closely with a lot of my own attorneys, and a lot of the times we're trying to figure out, a solution to whatever the problem may be. I'm working side by side with them. So I still get to enjoy the practice of law,
and
because I'm paying them.
And you're very involved in that too. I remember there was a topic that we discussed a while back. I was overhearing your conversation.
Sure.
And you were like, really like, you knew a lot of the freaking rules. I'm like,
you have to.
The law. I'm like, what?
And that's what business is. Like you can't just expect yourself to succeed. Everybody wants to be an overnight millionaire, but they don't want to put in the 5 to 6 years before that overnight millionaire happens. Everybody thinks that it happens like this. And for some people, don't get me wrong, it does.
Yeah.
Luck plays a huge factor in every one of our lives.
100%.
People forget to disregard that we control a lot of things, but we can't control everything. Like you just can't control everything. And sometimes luck plays a factor. Sometimes it's timing. Sometimes it's your execution. Sometimes it's your planning. Sometimes it's your capabilities of being organized. Just your habits, your routine. All of these things come together to not only define you in business, but also define you as a human being and as a person.
That is true.
There's
you tell me shit, like a lot about businesses in general, but also about just getting your shit together.
Yeah, it's important. And I don't do that. Like, listen, like almost anybody who knows me knows that I'm very tough love, but I'm also all love. Like there's nothing 100%. I do that's not out of love. But of course, I'm not going to coddle my friends and family and try to let them know that everything's okay when it's not. If I see that you're not acting, maybe not your best, but like as close to your best as possible, then I want to bring that best out of you. To be a good leader, to be a good mentor, to be a good friend, to be a good cousin is to be honest. Yeah. And if you're not being honest with what you see, then you're probably lying about something or withholding some type of comment or some type of feedback that maybe somebody needs that helps them break from one level to another.
Yeah, that is
Every
true.
person has to be broken.
That is true.
I have no problem being the person that breaks somebody that I love or care about, because not everyone's going to do the same for them. So somebody has to do it, and I'm okay being that person. Because
the other person has to be able to take that feedback.
And sometimes they can, sometimes
in
they
a
can't.
Positive,
Sometimes people take the feedback, they break, so to speak, but they come back stronger. Sometimes they take it, they hold resent, they blame me instead of themselves, and then eventually a year down the line or sometime down the line, they realize that man, maybe he wasn't wrong.
Yeah.
And then everything changes. Then it's a conversation, and it's like, you were right.
And then you're like, didn't Monty tell you?
Yeah. And again, like, of course, I have that type of
Didn't
attitude.
I warn you?
I have that attitude to let people know.
I said that because I know I heard that a million times.
But it's because it's like, in the future, maybe listen. And it's not just me. And it's not just me you have to listen to. It may be somebody else.
No, you're right. It could be anybody,
advice.
not just you.
And constructive criticism and constructive advice is very important. You need to be able to accept that you don't know everything, and that maybe if there's somebody that knows one more thing than you do, you become that one more thing stronger.
That is true. So going back to school and college and all that, I know we don't have kids yet, but if we were to, would you tell them to go into your business route, or would you kind of tell them, no, you should go to school route?
I would want them to go to schooling for a certain amount of time, but me being a parent, I'm going to be the same way that I am a big brother, a cousin, a friend. I'm still going to mentor them. I'm still going to train and teach them all of the things of value in real life. Because in school, it's not all real life. But again, and this is something about school that, I don't want to take away, forcing us to have to learn so many topics. I'll put it this way.
You know what's crazy?
Did you have a favorite topic in high school?
I did.
What was your favorite topic?
I liked art. During my senior year, we had music production involved.
Sure.
But that's what I was getting at. I wanted to cut you off. My family friends, they're 16, 15.
Yeah.
Yo, now, the reason why I brought up school and all this is because in the school system now, they actually have topics that you can focus on. Now. But not in our time.
Okay, exactly. So if that's the case, then great. I would want my kids to be in a better school where maybe it's a private institution, maybe it's not a public. Not that there's anything wrong with the public institutions, but just so that I know that they are getting the best level of schooling in certain topics, and really they're learning about real life stuff. Learning about taxes, learning about mortgages, learning about just anything that we're actually dealing with, healthcare. All of these
credit cards, honestly,
anything, just personal financing,
yeah,
everything, and I would also be teaching them at the same time. And when it came the time for college, I would tell them that I want them to experience it for the sake of the experience. But by that time, I would anticipate my kids are already learning and miles ahead of other kids, because I'm going to be helping them start businesses sooner. I have a 6.5, 7-year-old niece right now who everything I talk to her about business. Just an example, my sister, your cousin, she was like, she told my niece that you can go to Target with your uncle. You can get one thing and one thing only. We went to Target. I picked up 5 things for her. And she was like, oh, no, Mom said I can only get one thing. I said, this is what you got to understand. We take these 5 things and you tell Mom that you went and you got one bundle. And at the end of the day, the loophole is in the verb.
Yo, that's so. My God,
the verbiage matters.
Yeah.
She's like, "What's a bundle?" And then I'm explaining to her, but I explained it to her from a perspective that she understood there, and then I applied it to the teaching of real life, where I was like, now, I was teaching a little bit about e-commerce or just general businesses. I was like, sometimes you'll see that a store or whatever it may be, let's just stick to a retail store, selling something in a pack of 5 or a bundle, and they're combining things and reducing the price for the individual items, but overall they're getting you to spend more.
Yeah.
So what you want to do is figure out what things you can pair together to sell somebody a higher ticket item.
True.
Rather than selling them 5 individual items, because maybe you're only going to buy 2 or 3 of them.
Yeah.
But if I get all 5 of them, put them at a fair offering, instead of getting $50, $10, and $20 for a total of $80, I can sell you all 5 for $100, and the total revenue I'm getting is a little bit higher.
True.
So now I'm explaining to her, like, to get more revenue for a business, you can bundle things together. Did she understand it? Maybe. Yeah. Maybe not. She's 7 years old.
That was a lot for her. But that's dope. She's getting exposed to it.
And now that's like, every time we talk, she's like, oh, Monty Mama, I got a bundle. It's resonating with her.
Yeah, that is
and
true.
when you're at those type of ages, these are schooling ages, you're absorbing what you're learning.
That is true.
And now if we apply the same things that we want our kids and the next generation to learn in the future to their everyday lives, they start to absorb it, and they build from that, and that becomes their foundation.
All right, we are back from that little short break, right?
A little intermission.
Intermission.
Allow the advertisements to build up some funds since you guys are cheap and don't want to support us.
Hopefully we get some sponsors in the future, you know?
Yeah, that just because we're bringing it up, it is available. So if you guys ever want to be a part of the Tea Time podcast, let Himanshu know. Not this one, that one.
Yeah. So going back into the business topic, I think we were speaking about kids and them growing up into the business world. I can say personally, like, anything I learned about business was through Monish. Like, he took the risk. Like, even now.
Yeah, risk is one of the biggest parts of business. And you have to be willing to sacrifice comfortability for future comfortability. Mm-hmm. And if you're not willing to, then you're going to stay complacent and wherever you're at. Mm-hmm. And it's going to be tough to get out of that because once you start to get comfortable with where you're at, you're more afraid. Mm-hmm. You know, that flight or fight kind of kicks in where it's like, oh, if I get out of this, then, you know, I might not be able to have the house I have, the car I have, my girl might leave me. You know, like you start to worry about the things that don't matter rather than the things that could happen in the positive way.
I think risk is one of the main factors as a businessman, an entrepreneur, where it's like, shit, do I want to take that risk? Like I can speak about myself. I was working a 9 to 5 for 5 years.
And how comfortable were you doing that?
I was very comfortable.
Exactly.
I mean, bi-weekly, I'm getting a check.
Guaranteed
my pay's
money.
going up.
You know, you can plan your money. You can plan your finances. You know what money you're going to have for savings. The comfortability is great, but it's also designed to keep you comfortable so that you continue to produce volume for somebody else. If you're getting paid, let's just use a hypothetical number. Your salary was, let's say it was $100,000 a year. Yeah. You're happy with that. You're comfortable. It covers your expenses. It gives you enough breathing room where you have a safety net where after the hours of 5 p.m., you can play around with stuff yourself. But again, you've already given 8 hours of your day mentally exhausting yourself. Now, if somebody's able to afford to pay you $100,000, the reality is your output is probably worth more than $100,000. Yeah. Maybe they're making $120,000 per the employee. Maybe they're making 140, 160, 300,000, 500. You don't know that.
Depending on the work. Yeah.
Exactly. So your work is always worth more than what you're getting paid. And no matter what, you're going to be undervalued. Yeah. Now, that's if you're working a traditional 9 to 5. Yeah. Now, working for a startup, working for a business that's more established, that has several perks, several advantages, that it's, you know, you enter the next tier of businesses.
And I think startups are way different when it comes to...
Very different. You know, you have some equity possibilities. You have some upside in the future. You have the opportunity to grow and develop yourself while learning another part of a business. And then you decide if you want to be a part of it. But if you decide not to be a part of it, you lose those vested shares that you may have for the future. Yeah.
Makes sense. And I think going back to my I loved my 9 to 5. I actually got laid off. So I honestly look at that as like an opportunity of like taking this full time. You know, I'm going to go ahead and go full flesh on this because I've been doing it full time if you think about it, but I've always had a job for 4 or 5 years. Well, no,
you've never done it full time. And that's the difference. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody thinks that they've been applying themselves fully to something that they do on the side. But if you're doing something on the side, how are you fully applying yourself to it? Very true. You're only up maybe 16, 15, 14, 20 hours a day, depending on how many hours you sleep. Let's go with 8 hours, is the average. You got 16 hours to accomplish as much as you can accomplish in a day. Yeah. If 8 hours you have to dedicate to working and applying your mental capacity and bandwidth to someone else's business, how much time do you really have to apply yourself to something that you want to do?
Damn, you're taking it to the next level. He's really making me think about this right now.
And the reality is you may not want that. Like those 8 hours may be exactly how much you want to work. And there's people who have the most amount of peace, who just work their jobs, come home and know they have nothing else to worry about. And the rest of their time, they're able to relax.
And I've seen that.
And there's nothing wrong with that, bro.
No, nothing wrong.
It's nothing wrong.
But when I see that, because I worked in the corporate field. Sure. And, I love my coworkers in the past. I just want to. I love my company. If you're trying to rehire, let me know. No, but I noticed that a lot of people, like for example, I have a business in the side. My brother started it up.
Sure.
And I have that going. I'm in the luxury wedding industry. Yep. And I've always had that going. So it's in the back of my head while I was working there. I always thought about, I know I could do more. Right. I know I can get so much more out of it.
Just so we're a little clear for the audience here, my background in business specifically, I own a few small businesses myself, and my my main, I guess, business is my consulting agency where I consult other businesses. I do business coaching for CEOs. I do business coaching for business owners and founders, and I do business consulting and development. So anything from helping you with your marketing to your sales to your financials, whatever part of your business that I identify can use help and that I can raise the awareness for you is where I apply myself as a consultant.
Just like on this podcast.
Just like on this podcast.
He's going to give me free, right? Cousin discount. No. He's going to invoice me right after this.
I mean, the invoice is going to come either way. You don't got to pay. You know what I mean? But business is business, brother.
No,
I'm just kidding.
No,
but you know, going back to what you were saying, now, if I was consulting you for your other business that you were just talking about, my first piece of advice would be rather than if that business can make, and you know, be as honest as you want to be here, you can hold back wherever you want to. Would you say that business on the side yields as much financial success or freedom for you that your 9-to-5 was creating?
Oh, 100%.
100%, right?
100%.
So now imagine if you applied, instead of 50% of your time to that, imagine if you applied 100% of your time to that. Would it possibly make more money than what your 9-to-5 was making?
I'm already seeing the difference.
Right. So that's my point, right? So instead of, everyone is always trying to play it a little bit safe while also being conservative, and there's nothing wrong with that. But
everybody's circumstances are different as well.
I also understand that.
Yeah.
But I'm using your circumstance specifically.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
If you apply yourself 100% to one thing, it's better than applying yourself 30% to 5 things. Now, when I say that, people in their mind think that they're applying themselves fully to multiple things. Like you said before, I was doing this on the side, and I was doing this full time, and I was also doing this. No, you weren't. You were applying 50% of your brain power to this and 50% to, let's say, your podcasting / DJing. But you were also applying a certain amount to your wedding planning and you know, the event coordination. So that's 3 things that you're applying yourself to. Now, there's only 100% of you. How much could you apply to those 3 things if you max them out? 33% each?
Yeah.
Right? So my point is, you have those 3 things, you're applying yourself 33%. You could apply yourself 40-50% to them, and you can burn yourself out by doing more than 100% of what you're capable of.
True.
Right? So you're applying 150% of your total capabilities, but to 3 different things.
Yeah.
Right? You're getting minimal outputs from all 3. Now, if you applied yourself 100% to one of those things, the financial benefit could equal more than all 3 combined, and that 150% of total output reduces to 100%.
True.
Now, you're working a little bit more freely. You're a little bit less stressed. You're not burning yourself out. You're taking care of your health. You don't have high cortisol and stress levels. All of this is important.
That is insane.
You know,
that's why maybe I might be wrong, or maybe I might be right, but the rich, they're always usually more healthier. Well, they have that opportunity to be healthier.
For sure. But they prioritize it because they also need to function at their highest level, or they want to function at their highest level, as we all should. You know, you're sitting here drinking a black coffee versus a coffee with milk, sugar, flavor, this, whipped cream, sprinkles, donut, coffee.
Don't get me wrong. I love that.
Yeah, I'm not saying you shouldn't, but all of that stuff is weighing you down. And I don't mean significantly, you know, like it's weighing you down by weight, although it probably does add some calories, obviously. But aside from the calories, like it's weighing you down mentally. There's all of this toxins and all of these other things that we're putting into our bodies where we're not performing at our highest capability. Yeah. And I'm not saying that I'm great all the time. You know, like right now it's holiday season, man. I've been eating more than I should ever eat.
We could go for a donut or so.
Exactly.
We might go for some platters after this.
I don't know, but I won't say no, you know. But my point is, you know, like discipline, and this goes back to what we were saying before, discipline's important. Yeah. Because holidays, birthdays, weddings, to have the discipline to stay consistent through your healthier or better routine that you found for yourself, whatever works. Yeah. It may be 5 days I'm great, 2 days I enjoy myself, 6 days I'm great, 1 day I let myself go. Whatever works best for everyone, because everyone's different. But when you find that difference, when you follow that difference, and you have the discipline to continue to do it even when you're meant to not do it, that's the difference between being at a certain level and then reaching the next level.
So freedom, it comes back to having freedom. We were talking about financial freedom, right?
I mean, freedom is the most important thing, but everyone's definition of financial freedom is also different.
I wanted to mention what in my opinion, what that means, right? Like when I was working a 9-to-5, even though I loved everybody I was working with, I learned a lot
Sure.
about the corporate level, like how they operate and stuff, which is
Awesome.
dope. I can kind of
Absolutely.
bring it back to my own business, right?
Right.
I will say the financial freedom in your own business is way better than working a 9 to 5.
It is. But what you just said is very important to know. Now, you said taking that job and doing that job taught you something,
Oh,
right?
100%.
It's a different type of schooling.
Yeah.
You know, there's this
real life.
There's literal school.
Yeah.
There's street school where you have to do things on the street. And don't get me wrong, brother, I've done a lot of different things that I'm not proud of, but I've also done a lot of things that I'm proud of. But all of them have not only defined me, but they've taught me something that I can apply and use in the future and maybe help others to prevent or apply in their lives.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
And I think that's what kind of shapes us as who we are
100%.
growing up.
And that's why I'm saying, like, to get a job, and mind you, I've never actually, I don't think I've ever really had a job, like not a 9 to 5. I've always, you know, and we can get into that if you'd like to as well. But, you know, I've never had a job because when I was young, I experienced something from my father and I kind of just ran with that. And I learned something so young that it allowed me to prepare myself for any situation when it comes to financial, like personal finances.
Yeah. So would you say your father is your mentor?
I would say my father is one of my role models. I've had many different mentors. One of them has passed away, and you do know him, obviously. That was my late brother-in-law, and he was one of my mentors. He taught me a lot about everything, whether, you know, like one of the most important things that he taught me, which my mom also taught me as well, both of them taught me the same lesson, was specifically that your first impression should never be your last. So dress right. The first thing that people notice when you walk into a room is your hair, if it's kempt or if it's like out of place and stuff. You know, having a nice shape up, getting your hair done, having a clean fade. It's important.
You can never catch Monty without a haircut.
You can't, you know,
This
but there's a
guy's
reason
on
for it,
fleek.
because I never know who I'm going to meet when, and I
true.
never want my first impression to be a last impression. And if it is a last impression, I want to leave a lasting impression. You know,
very true.
So the first things they look
These
at
are all
is
captions, by the way. People about to take this.
take them, run. You know, God bless. I'm here to share. I'm not here to gatekeep anything that I don't need to. You know, business is business. But your hair, your watch. You know, whether you don't have to have an expensive timepiece, but having a nice, clean looking watch on your wrist, it adds a little flair.
It
your
creates
shoes,
conversation.
yeah, your shoes, your outfit. From top to bottom is how people examine you, right?
100%.
So they're looking at your hair all the way down to your shoes.
100%.
Just make sure that you're presentable for whatever room that you're walking into.
Yeah.
And have the confidence that you belong.
Yeah. That is true. And I'm assuming growing up, you were always learning about business. You were always learning from people.
Correct. So like we said, you know, mentor-wise, like my mom taught me about real estate when I was younger. I never really listened and I didn't apply myself, but like we didn't have the money to do it at another level, but she did it at a very small level and she was always teaching me, but I wasn't really listening. I didn't really get into it until the last maybe 5-10 years.
Yeah.
But then I started understanding it more and now I'm looking for those opportunities when I have the capital to do so. My brother-in-law taught me about business, taught me how to dress. He had me wearing loafers. He had me, you know, he made me very clean. He also was the only person that I would talk to and we would always tell each other like $1 billion is the goal. You know, everybody would always talk millions and stuff, but we would always look at each other and be like, a billy, you know, because like it wasn't the fact that we want $1 billion. It was that we need to set our targets at a higher level. So he always taught me to chase the sky, you know, like don't forget the sky, chase the moon, chase Mars. Think of like, you know, the way, you know, and again, a lot of people don't necessarily agree. Some people love him, but Elon Musk, you know, everything that he's doing, looking outside of the world, to have that perspective it's pretty cool, you know, and it doesn't just come from nowhere.
You got to be delusional.
You have to be delusional.
I think I'm going to relate this back to me. This year, I want to be delusional. And I think I had this conversation with you.
Yeah.
And I told you, I'm starting this podcast.
Yep.
I'm going to go full flesh. Yo, I understand there's a lot of podcasts, right?
Of course.
But people want to listen to you. And if you're interesting, they're going to always listen to you.
Of course.
So why not?
And you know, circling back, the purpose of business, the purpose of anything you do should not just be financial freedom.
Monetary value.
It should not be monetary. It should not be defined by a dollar amount. It should, I said $1 billion as, my brother-in-law and I used to joke about.
Yeah.
It shouldn't stop there. It should be about a lasting impact.
Yeah,
I have this philosophy that no matter what business I do, whether it's consulting for a client, whether it's my own businesses, but it needs to be a 5-star business. Everybody's
quality.
And everybody's always telling me, why are you so pressed on perfection? I'm like, I'm not pressed on perfection. You're mistaking the two things. I'm not trying to be perfect. I'm trying to make sure that the person who is putting money into my business and supporting the well-being of my employees, my rent, my capabilities, and me having a mortgage and the roof over my head, the food on my plate comes from the people that support my businesses.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm not doing what I can to ensure that they have the highest level of an experience and the best experience that they can have, then I'm not doing the right thing as a proprietor or as a business owner.
That's crazy. That's I agree. I'm sorry to cut you off.
No, please.
I 100% fucking agree, because there's a lot of people that are in this industry that are doing podcasting, DJing, producing, right? But they don't put their all into it.
There's no impact. Right? It's just like they want to talk, or maybe there is. And the ones who are successful, that's because they're having an impact on their audience.
Yeah.
Like you said, here's free captions. You're saying it as a joke, you're knocking, but the reality is there's an impact, right?
Yeah.
Somebody's watching this. There's a lot of game that they can gain from.
Yeah.
Maybe there's a caption they can take from it. Maybe they like my glasses. Maybe they like your hat. There's something to gain from it, right?
Yeah,
We're giving something that allows for the podcast to have a purpose, to have an impact on someone's life.
Yeah. And I think that matters a lot. Even as a DJ in the luxury wedding industry.
Yeah.
I don't like I've gotten clients in the same, actually next year, there was a weekend, I've gotten clients, they're like, they want to book me.
Yeah.
And I said, I felt bad, but I had to say no. Because I can't send out another DJ that I know who he's good.
Right.
But like, I know it's not going to be the same quality.
Right. But maybe you can.
Yeah.
And maybe the way is to just be transparent, because honesty is equally as important, because
True.
your job as a 5-star, your goal is to help that person achieve the best event that they can. And now, although I believe, and also I hope that you believe, that you do throw down and possibly throw the best events when you have the opportunity
100%.
to. That doesn't mean that you don't have the know-how or the eye to know when somebody else is capable of doing something at a close level to where you're at. So what you do is you honestly tell them transparently, I'm unavailable at this time,
100%.
but I have someone that I think is, or a team member, or someone that I would recommend. I'm not going to say they're going to do what I do, because nobody does what I do, and I can't do what they do.
Yeah.
It's not about putting anybody down.
I word it like that similarly, but I just say I have a team member in my team.
Yeah.
He's available.
Yep.
I can set you up on a conference call.
Yeah.
And if you feel like, you're comfortable with his style and his skills.
Yeah.
Well,
but your job about giving the 5-star service there is letting them know that you have trust in this person. You're giving the vouch, and then you're letting them know honestly that you're not able to do it, but you're trying to give the best available option that you can offer. Now, that's not you telling them you should use this guy. I want you to take the chance to look at some of his work, check him out. Like you said, have an interview with him, have a conversation, see if you're comfortable, but also look up some other guys. Here's some other guys I know.
100%.
You may like them better than you even like me.
Yeah.
I want you to have the best event you could have. Now, what you just did there is you told this person that their needs are coming before yours. It doesn't have to be someone from your team that you're recommending. If you have the option and it fits their event, rather than just making the money, you're giving them what they need.
Yeah.
But if that person may not be what they need, by offering someone else, you're giving them exactly what they're asking for, what they need for their event to truly be.
A lot of people don't do that in this industry.
And a lot of people don't do it in any industry.
Yeah, that is true.
I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't care. I'll tell you that you should go down the street and buy something from someone else if it's going to be a better fit for you. If you're looking for the price and they have it for cheaper, by all means, I'll look up the 10 closest places that have it cheaper. By all means, go to them. It's okay.
Yeah.
And when you need me for something else, I'll still be here.
That almost kind of relates into there's always room to grow. You're not the only one, right?
You're never going to be the only.
Yeah.
There's no industry where you're the only.
But I think that's a Desi mentality, coming back to Desi mentality. I think the Desi mentality is, for example, let's say this laptop right here.
Sure.
I'm selling this laptop. My shit is going to be the best. You're selling it too? But nah, your shit is not the best.
And again,
even though it operates the same.
Maybe that's how some people think.
Yeah.
I don't think like most people.
Yeah.
To be completely
do you
honest.
agree though? Is it a Daisy mentality?
No, I think that's a sales mentality.
Is it sales?
Whatever I have is the best thing that's on the table, and you should buy it.
Well, no.
That's traditional sales.
Okay.
You know, people want whatever they have. Doesn't matter if he has the same exact car as I do. My car is better. Why? Because it came in. I stored it better. I cleaned it better. You have to BS a little.
No, but would you recommend, like, for example, like same laptop situation, back to the same.
Sure.
And say the price range is different, but I know this client might be inclined to buying yours. They wouldn't even recommend you. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah,
like,
I mean, if you're selling this, like, they're not going to give their direct competition.
No,
the
but like,
same
why
product.
not? Like, for example, this is how I think.
Yeah.
For example, I'll stick to the DJ industry, right?
Sure. And in business, although everything is numbers, and to me, business just means numbers. It's simply numbers. I don't care what business it is. The numbers are what matters because those never lie.
Yeah.
People always lie, but numbers don't. I think every business, it's also circumstantial. You know what I'm saying? Like if you're talking about two laptops, they're both identical from a different supplier and they're both priced at two different levels. I mean, obviously you're going to go on Amazon and look for the cheapest option. You're not going to go to Best Buy and pay more, right?
Yeah,
Unless you need it today and Amazon can't get it there before 8 p.m. and you need it right now at 2 p.m. You're going to run to Best Buy.
Yeah.
Fine. But in that situation, it's a little different than offering a service. I'm talking about specifically a service-based industry where you're providing a service versus a specific product. Now, my example was related to me telling them they can go get a product somewhere else, right? That's the product part. But the service that they're going to receive from the business owner or the manager at that place is going to be less than what I provided them by specifically looking out for their needs. So the service that I'm providing them, that's where the 5 stars. It's not necessarily just the product because the product is the same. You can get it there or here.
Okay.
But when you come in, you can expect a certain type of experience with me that you won't get somewhere else. And if you do get it somewhere else, by all means, God bless. I wish them the best and I wish you the best.
Okay.
If you ever need me, I'll still be here.
Understood.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. I'm just trying to relate it back to like the clients that I've dealt with where I kind of am open to like, if they don't feel comfortable with my pricing, it's fine. I will recommend them who I know.
Absolutely.
In my network.
And that's what you should do. Yeah, for sure. And I do the same. It's like if I'm going to quote what I'm going to quote because I know what my work is worth, but you're going to get that plus more because that's the type of service that I provide. I don't stop at what you paid for. I give you more and I over deliver and I under promise. You know, I tell you I'm only going to do this and this is what the contract is and this is where we're at. But what I'm going to give you is that plus so much more. Because I truly care about the success of my client or my customer or the person that is supporting me. Back to that. Whoever is willing to help me put the roof over my head, the food on my table, that person, I'm going to make sure I do the best that I can by them.
100%.
Whatever physically and mentally I'm able to provide, obviously, I'm going to provide it. A 5-star service it's important. You know, like that's more important than anything else for me is making sure I'm delivering a 5-star service.
100%.
Any employee, anybody that works for me, they know this is like the most important thing for me.
That's literally what Monish tells me. Yeah. My brother. Always.
It's important.
Growing up in the DJ industry, he's always told me, like, sometimes I'd be like, yo, don't worry, I'll take care of it. No. You got to do it right.
Right, yeah.
You got to give them what they want.
100%. You can't just deliver a package. You know, you can't just get out of the FedEx truck and throw it on somebody's porch. You got to go put it right. You got to take a picture. You got to send the picture. There's a reason for that process.
And like I said, Monish always has taught me business, like how to.
So it sounds like your mentor
is Monish. Yeah, 100%. 100%.
For sure. There you go.
And honestly, I'm not gonna lie. Anytime I do get, you're a busy man.
Of course.
Hard to fucking get in touch with you and sit down, you know. But anytime I talk to you, you know, it's there's a lot of learning points that I gain from you.
Yeah, and because I care about you, I'm not gonna do you a disservice by not using my time to always give you game. I do it all the time. Every time I see you, it's game on top of game on top of game for hours on top of hours. It's a 1 hour sit down and we end up chilling for 8 hours. And it's just game on top of game.
But I take that. I want you to know I take that.
And that's why you keep getting more. If I'm giving somebody something or somebody's giving me something and I'm not applying it or learning from it, they're going to stop giving it to me and I'm going to stop giving it to whoever else.
Yeah.
The people who actually learn, the best students who eventually become teachers have to be able to actually accept criticism as well as take different types of feedback and look at different perspectives.
And imply it in their own way.
Everyone is so busy looking this way. The
Mm.
second you start to look this way, you realize there's so much more that you don't know.
Mm.
When you start looking at everything you don't know, you're like, man, I need to learn. Or you realize the most important part of business, which is I need a team.
Yeah.
And when you realize you have a team, think
yeah.
about it this way. If I can only see this way, or I can see this way, or
Yeah.
I can see this way, I'm only seeing one direction always.
That is crazy.
The only way I can see the whole world and a full 360 is with somebody watching my back, somebody watching my left, somebody watching my right. We're now covering the entire 360. We see everything.
Yeah.
So you need a team.
A team is very important.
There's no business, there's no large company. What's the largest company that first comes to your mind? Don't think about it. The biggest company that you could think of. Any
Clothing
company.
right now? Probably,
Anything.
Let's say Amiri, the growth of
Amiri,
Amiri.
I guarantee, and again, it's just the first one that came to mind. It didn't have to be clothing, could have been anything.
Yeah.
But I guarantee you there is a CEO, there's a COO, there's a CFO, there's a CMO, there's a CBO, there's a head of HR, there's an admin.
Yeah.
All of these people are required for a business to function at its highest level because one person can only do so much.
Very true.
You know, when you take, it's an old saying, but you know, you give one horse a carriage to pull, maybe it pulls it at 10 miles an hour.
Yeah.
You give two horses a carriage to pull, and they pull that thing at 200 miles an hour.
Yeah.
You know, it's because of
very true.
It's the same amount of weight.
Yeah.
Two people pulling it, obviously it's stronger, but those two people can also pull a lot more weight than the original weight because they have support. There's more balance. You can pull that side, I'm pulling this side. It balances out the carriage. There's so many dynamics.
Just like the saying, 2 minds are better than one.
I would not disagree.
That is crazy.
You know, depending on the minds, obviously. You don't need everyone's opinion.
Yeah.
Peanut galleries are not healthy, and they do exist. You know, a lot of people just want to give their input and want to feel involved. But you have to be able to filter out distraction from value.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like distractions are in our lives every day, whether it's social media, whether it's what you see outside, whether it's your mother, whether it's your aunt. Everyone wants to tell you what's best for you without understanding that maybe they don't know what's best for you from your perspective.
Mm-hmm.
You know, from their perspective, they want you to be a doctor. They want you to have a healthy, safe, comfortable life because they never had that opportunity.
Yeah.
But they also never had the opportunity to be in the position to choose.
Yeah.
You know,
things are way different.
Our past generations, they had to do, like I said, my father had no choice. That was the only opportunity he had at that time.
Yeah.
He took that opportunity. He was a jobber. He delivered a bunch of product to several stores. He built his own accounts. He eventually saved enough money. He bought his own product rather than getting it from somebody else. He bought enough product, had enough customers, eventually needed a warehouse. He rented a warehouse. Then he got his own truck. Then he got his own employees. Then he got more customers. He kept building that for 30 years. He was able to do that. And he provided for our family. Thank God. We always had food on the table. Doesn't matter what the food was. You know, at certain times were tough, and other times were better. But there was always food on the table.
Mm-hmm.
And he was able to provide it. Now, again, he sacrificed a lot of time because he had no choice. That's what he knew. That's what he learned. That's what he started doing. He had to apply himself to that. And the only way that business worked for him was by applying those type of hours. I understood that when I was younger. I was like, oh, dad's never home. I don't get to see him often. And when he would come home, 10 o'clock at night, 9 o'clock, he would still take me to the park if I wanted to go shoot to a park that had lights or something for 10, 20 minutes. Like he would try. Like, I loved that. But I was also like, man, he's always out. He's always busy. But I was also a kid. I'm always running around. Like I didn't think about it as much. As an adult, I started thinking about it more. I was like, man, like it would have been nice to have more time. But I also understood, man, now like what he was really doing. You know, he was fighting for us to have opportunity. He was fighting for us to have the luxuries that other people had that were traditional. Now we're at a point where we have comfort in our life. We have the things that we need, and we can,
grow on that.
We can build on those. The foundation started there where he started, and that was the bottom. Yeah. For us, the foundation didn't start at the bottom; it started slightly above it. Yeah. And everyone's story is different.
Everyone's
and the most important story for me was, when I started business, and the reason why I never truly had a job is because my father, when I was young, we lived in Staten Island at the time. And I was maybe 9 or 10 years old, just about. It was like 5th grade. And I was one of the very few Indian kids in the community. There was a lot of Italian kids, a lot of Jewish kids, a lot of black kids, and a Latin community. But I was maybe the only Indian kid in the school. So one, I understood that I had to adapt. So I learned from everyone around me. I was able to adapt in anybody's community, and they always invited me in because I was willing to understand and learn, and I knew I had to be a chameleon and just fit in. And I did that. But I got to do that, and I saw that everybody in every community, for the most part, every kid got an allowance.
Oh.
And I never knew what this was. I was like,
That's crazy.
well, you guys get what? I'm over here getting free lunch.
Yeah.
And again, that's assisted care, which thank God that they provided such programs.
Yeah.
But it was assisted care, and it wasn't just free lunch. My mom and my sisters would pack me a light lunch to take, and nothing crazy, but it's something essential that I can eat at lunch and obviously get through my day before I come back home and eat at home.
Yeah.
But everyone had an allowance. So like at lunchtime, or after school or before school, we're stopping at the deli. Kids are buying a little quarter jug of soda or juice and buying a bag of chips, a little piece of gum. And I'm not buying nothing because I ain't got no money. So I saw this allowance thing and I go home and I'm like, Dad, like, how come I don't get an allowance?
Yeah.
And because like I would see my dad counting money. I didn't realize that he owed this all back to the wholesalers and distributors who he was taking product on consignment from. So the only money he was making, like I said before, was maybe $100, but he had maybe 10,000 in front of him. So I'm thinking my dad's rich. He's just not giving me money. Let me get $5. Only made 100. He's got to pay the mortgage, the groceries, the gas, the
expenses.
But I'm not thinking about that. I'm 10 years old. I'm just like, I just want to go buy some candy. Give me $5. And I cried. My dad said no. For like 4 days, my dad said no. And at the time, my dad was a general merchandise wholesaler. So he sold a lot of candy. He was Sam the Candy Man. Like everybody in Brooklyn knew my dad as Sam the Candy Man. You know? So my dad came home one night and he was ready. He knew this little kid's going to come. He's going to cry again.
Yeah.
He came. I cried. I'm like, Dad, let me get an allowance. Dad, let me get an allowance. And instead, my dad handed me a box of 24 variety pack of Hershey chocolate. There was like 6 Hershey's, like 3 or 4 Hershey almonds, some Reese's, some Twizzler. It was a little mixed variety pack. Full size normal bar. And again, times are different. So at that time, my dad was like, you owe me $8 for this box. And I'm like, what? I'm asking you for $5. You're giving me candy that I'm going to eat with my friends. I'm going to owe you $8 and I'm still not going to get $5 that I asked you for. What kind of deal is this? I don't want this. He was like, you got 24 bars. I'm asking you for $8 back. Figure out what you could do with this. And I was like, I'm going to eat this. What do you mean? I know what I'm going to do with this. I'm going to go give my friends some. We're going to have a great time. And then I go upstairs and I'm crying in my little corner. I didn't really have much of a room. I had a little corner and I'm just crying there. And I opened the first bar. It was a Take 5. Reese's Take 5. I'll never forget it. And I'm eating it. I eat 2 pieces. I'm like, man, what am I going to do? This doesn't help me at all. I'm just thinking. And I'm like, well, instead of just giving it to my friends, maybe I could ask my friends to just give me a couple bucks and we can split the cost that we owe my dad and then we just get a lot of candy for cheap. I'm thinking there, I'm like, well, what if I give it to them for cheap? What if instead of just splitting the cost, what if I charged a little bit more? I'm like, hey, this candy at the store is like $1. $1 plus tax, 99 cents plus tax. I can just sell this to kids at school for $1. So I had 23 bars left. I went to school the next day. At the bus stop, I had already sold like 7 bars.
That's crazy.
I already had $7, and I was like, "Oh my God, I'm gonna be rich!" So I got $7 already. I'm like, I only owe Dad 8, so I get on the bus, and I'm like, I'm trying to sell a couple bars on the bus to try to, because the bus stopped at a few stops. So at my stop, I already sold $7, and the bus is gonna stop at 2 more stops before we go to school. We stop at the next stop, I sell another 3 bars. I'm at $10. Stop at the next stop, I sell like another 4 or 5 bars. I'm already double my money. I'm chill, I go to school, I go to lunch. I'm telling one of my best friends at the time about, what I did today and how crazy it was. I already made $8. I was only asking for 5 for the week. I made 8 already in one day. So I still had 7 bars left because I ate the first one. Never get high on your own supply. But anyways, I already had $16 I went to school. Lunchtime came, sold out. $23 in hand. I go back home that night. I'm waiting for my dad to come home. My dad gets home. I hand him $23 and I'm like, Dad, I need 3 boxes. And
that's crazy.
And I kid you not, you can ask my dad. From that day, I have never asked him for money in my life again. Never. He's paid for things for me. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
Anything that he wants to pay for, he'll pay. But I never had to ask him because I always found a way because I built that hustler mentality right there. When he forced me to go out and take this, I had to learn from him. And I was like, now what am I going to do? You know,
that
so
is crazy.
I learned, and then I took those 3 boxes. I went to school. I gave 1 box to my best friend. I told him, you owe me $16. So I was like, there's $8 profit for you to make if you sell 24 bars. You make 8, get me back 16. You keep your 8. Man, I had 3 boxes. 3 kids, we were selling candy.
Crazy.
You know? Like we started our own little.
Uncle started you, Uncle started you young.
Yeah, we started our own little enterprise right there. And from there, I just understood that first of all, you make less money in scaling, but there's more overall profit if you have more arms. I sold my 1 box and I made my $16 every time. Yeah, but I had 2 other people selling boxes. I only made $8 a box from each, but that was $16 extra I made from them selling at different lunch periods that I couldn't sell to.
That's crazy.
And I can only move 24 bars. So I had, you know
so
what I mean?
You were always thinking. Uncle got you thinking outside the box and what you could do with that.
And it was awesome. Also because he couldn't afford to give it to me. Yeah. So he's like, this is what I have to do every day. How can I teach you this? And the lesson he taught me was, there's always an opportunity. You just got to go and grab it. I could have ate all the chocolate. I could have given it out to my friends. Enjoyed it for maybe a week, 2 weeks, and that would have been great. But that lesson, I can enjoy for the rest of my life. Yeah.
Honestly, that's something that's so inspiring right now. I mean, I'm listening to it for the first time. Yeah. And it's making me want to think outside the box, honestly.
And that's all I want. It's like when you start to think outside the box and you look for opportunities that may be right in front of you that you're just not touching, it's probably because you're blind. Like I said, when we're so focused on looking straight, we don't see what's on our left and what's on our right because we're so dialed in and locked in, right? But the second we open our perspective and we look a little bit further, we realize, wow, there's something here that I was missing. There's something here I'm missing. Yeah. People take vacations. They go, they relax, they go to sleep, they drink, they party. That's fine. They're recharging. I take vacations. I do all of that. But I also am observant. Where am I? What are people doing here? What is the economy? Yeah. How are they surviving? What do they enjoy? What are their hobbies? What are they paying for? Yeah. I'm learning. How do they market? What is the billboard in this state or in this country? How are they advertising? Very true. I take all of this information because I'm opening my eyes to look beyond what I'm already looking at. Now I know just something slightly more than what maybe someone else was looking at. We all drove the same road in the same car, but I was looking at the billboards. They were just listening to the music and bumping their head.
Yeah, another caption.
You know what I mean? Like
you're throwing captions, bro. Quotes and captions everywhere.
I was able to see. And if you want to correlate that to life, you can go in life, which is the 9 to 5, and have a comfortable life and drive straight down that road forever. And the road's gonna have left turn, right turn, curve, left, whatever. And you can do that. Or
you can think outside the box.
You can think outside the box and drive through the field. Yeah, maybe they say not to do it, but why? Yeah, you can learn for yourself. You gotta open yourself up to the things that are right in front of you because that maybe you driving through the field was the turn that saved you 10 minutes of going straight and making that left, and maybe you shouldn't have done it, and maybe it wasn't a designed road, but like there was a roadway for you to take. That's a shortcut. Yeah, and to some people they look at it as a shortcut, but I look at it as that's a road that needs to be designed eventually that they didn't put here, and now they know that this saves 6 minutes of time.
Very true.
You know what I mean? And and there's just, you have to look for those opportunities, just go out of the norm and don't always follow exactly what society tells you. You don't have to go to school. You don't have to do a business. You don't have to start your own business. You got to do what feels right. For you. For me, it felt right to continue to buy and sell things. And from that point, like I said, I continued to buy and sell sneakers, jerseys.
I remember it.
Anything I can sell, basketballs. At one point we bought a Sports Authority liquidation, the whole warehouse for closeout.
You touched all the markets.
Whatever I can touch, because there was opportunity. But from that, I'm also able, and I still apply it today. I have my hands in several different businesses, and I don't apply myself 100% to all of them. But I also know that I'm still young, and this is the time that I have to experiment and take some chances. Yeah. By me dabbling in several different businesses, I'm able to see which one of these are the ones that actually make me happy and I enjoy doing the most.
Makes sense.
the money's not an issue.
Yeah.
I make money from whatever I'm doing because I have to. I'm going to
Mhm.
invoice you. You're going to pay me. No, I'm just kidding. But you get what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah,
you know, like
100%.
there's a certain level of money that we need to make to cover our monthly nut or those necessary expenses.
Yeah.
Cover that. Have a little bit of extra comfort and then learn. Try
Yeah.
different things. Take
Mhm.
the risk. You know, risk it for the biscuit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You have to take a chance. You have to take that leap of faith and you have to believe in yourself.
Yeah.
Like you said earlier, being delusional is very important
100%.
because you need to believe that absolutely anything is possible at absolutely any time. And then you will realize that it truly is.
Yeah. And you know, I've noticed a lot of like the wealthy people, they always say, follow your dreams, do what you want to do, and be delusional.
Yeah.
And they say it with a reason behind
Right.
it. Because if you're not, if you're like you said, if you're working a 9 to 5, again, which again, it's not a bad thing, but you're just so locked in one
Looking at one direction.
one
You're
lane.
not
You're
looking at
staying
what
in
else
one
is out.
lane.
Exactly. You know?
So I really, you know, I really think, like you said, you indulge yourself in different markets. I actually want to get into that if you're comfortable in talking
Yeah.
about that. Which markets are you in currently right now, or would you want to get into in the future?
So currently I am in the legal cannabis space.
Mm-hmm.
I have a brand called Lemon Cannabis. I
Mhm.
have a legal dispensary. I have my hand in a few other dispensaries as well as more of a back-end partner.
Mhm.
We have a cultivation.
Mm-hmm.
So the legal cannabis side, I'm involved in business consulting where I work with marketing. I'm
Mhm.
involved in the tobacco
Mhm.
space. I'm involved in, as I just said, the marketing space.
Mm-hmm.
I'm involved in real estate. I'm involved in consulting.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when it comes to consulting, I consult with several different types of businesses. So
Mhm.
the benefit of it is I get to learn about several types of other businesses without having to actually get myself fully involved.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm able to consult. I'm able to apply my expertise as a business developer to those industries without
Mhm.
having to actually had spent years learning them, because at the end of the day, as long as I see the numbers, I can understand the business.
Mm-hmm.
I can understand what we need to do, what we need to change, what is worth it, what's not worth it, what's, you know, just assess the opportunities.
Yeah.
You
So
know?
when it comes to business laws and just knowing about, for example, cannabis,
Sure.
do you always keep up with it? Like,
You
for
have
example,
to.
there was something
You
that
have
Trump
to.
just changed
Yeah,
recently.
that he rescheduled cannabis,
Yeah,
which
yeah,
is
yeah.
a plus for sure. It's not completed entirely yet. It will take
Mhm.
some time this year
Mm-hmm.
for them to finalize the final bill and stuff, but
Mhm.
it's a step forward.
So that means there's more growth for cannabis
more opportunity
owners.
and access for research, as well as potential banking and some leniency there.
Okay.
However, interstate will still not exist.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, you're still there's still going to be limitations. It's not legalizing cannabis, but it's changing it from a heroin level to a Tylenol level, which is very important because
Okay.
there's a lot of medical benefit to this, you know, to this plant, and it's been around for long before pharmaceuticals were around.
Do you find that cannabis in the next 5 years will be easier to grab for anybody?
It will be, but from the business perspective, it will be a lot harder because now the opportunity is open for bigger players to get involved
Mm-hmm.
and gain from all of the benefits of the business. It is a high revenue business if you're good at it, because people, you know, it's a commodity. People want it, and, you know, less available price goes up, more
Mhm.
available price goes down. But at the same time, it's going to be more accessible, and, you know, there's just big players who are going to need to enter the space to
Yeah.
get away. Like, for example, alcohol sales are down generationally by like 80%,
Yeah.
which means people are just drinking a lot less because they're taking alternative forms of recreational. I don't want to call it drugs, but, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
We'll call it.
Uses.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. They have other vices that they're,
Mhm.
divulging themselves into, and cannabis is one of them. Legal hemp.
Mhm.
These are all.
CBD, does that fall under?
That's legal hemp.
Oh,
Yep.
legal hemp. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. So you see the growth. Do you see the growth in retail business?
Yeah, for sure. And not only the growth in retail business, but the difference is there's businesses out there right now that are struggling. There's
Mhm.
business out there right now that are doing well. The
Mhm.
difference is the impact that they're trying to make on their consumer. If whoever's chasing just making profit
Mm.
won't last long. The ones who are leaving a lasting impression on their
Mhm.
customers, giving them the highest level of experiences,
Yeah.
providing them with the most amount of bang for their buck,
Yeah.
they'll survive and they'll be there later. You
Okay.
know?
And do you recommend, I know I'm jumping mad topics,
Sure.
retail or wholesale when it comes to cannabis?
I don't recommend anyone to do anything unless they call me for a proper consultation.
Okay, hit them up.
And
Hit them up.
the reality is, until I don't understand the individual and what their past experience is and what they're trying to do, cannabis might not even be a fit for them.
Because I've been seeing a lot of retail stores opening up left and right.
That's as the licenses become available and the market becomes more accessible.
Okay.
You're going to see that because before you saw zero.
Yeah.
So now you're seeing something as it's starting. So obviously your eyes are going to notice something new. But at some point it's just going to be like, it's another dispensary. Another dispensary. Whatever.
Yeah, but like alcohol stores, right? Liquor license, liquor stores. They're still lucrative in the right area.
Absolutely.
Do you think that same, will apply to cannabis?
100%. It applies to every business. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
Okay.
No one business is separate from the other where if you do this, you're going to succeed unless we're talking AI and software.
Yeah.
Which I
want to get into.
Yeah. I have some investment into some software developers building their business and developing different softwares.
Okay.
With that being said, they do a lot of experiments with AI, different types of open sourcing and different types of AI models that are available for different uses. For example,
this is not relating just to cannabis. This is relating to in general.
This is all the above. This is cannabis, real estate, project management, anything and everything. It's just about thinking about you need to. If you're just looking for an easy business to get into, there is none.
Yeah,
there's no such thing. You need to do your homework. You need to do your due diligence. You need to understand the industry that you're entering.
Yeah.
And you need to see the total opportunity available. Yeah. Is there total opportunity available in cannabis? Sure. Is there total opportunity available in liquor? Maybe. I just told you a statistic that alcohol sales are down, a significant percentage generationally, which means the next generation is consuming a lot less. Yeah. Is that where you should be targeting your time? Or should it be to something that's maybe different?
Yeah,
right now, there's mushrooms. There's other,
so much more.
There's so much more out there. And I don't want to stay focused only on this because there's a lot of different business out there. But these are prohibited items that are now becoming more available. Anything that happens like that is an opportunity. Yeah. But it's also important to find your niche and see where the opportunity lies best for you. If you're thinking that I can just go into retail because somebody else went into retail, you're probably going to fail. If you're thinking I'm going to go into retail because I love dealing with customers every day, I know how to manage employees, I know how to run a retail business.
Keep up with the inventory.
Then you're thinking correctly. You know what I'm saying? Because you've done a little bit of thought. You've looked into what it takes to build a retail business. Now, I also think it's very important to pay for the correct help. Having a mentor is wonderful and it's great, but not everyone has that. Yeah. But you know what everyone has access to? Business consultants like this guy.
Oh, okay. I was going to say internet, but yeah, Monty's the best.
Well, no, but the internet also. But like aside from that, I'm talking about direct one-on-one help. There's consultants, attorneys, CPAs. Having good ones for all of these things is very important. Yeah. You need to have the right help in specific things because again, although I know the law and I understand it well, there's someone who's studying this 24/7, giving their 100%. Yeah. And they're going to know more than I will for sure. True. But from their knowledge, I may be able to think differently and help them apply the same practice to whatever I'm trying to do. Build on top of it. And I'll learn more that way because you're working with the best. So pay for the better service. Pay for the people who are qualified and overqualified. Pay for the people who've put in the time, who've paid their dues, the ones who chose to keep their head straight and only look one way. In that one thing, they're probably better than you. And they should be because they've applied themselves 100% to it. It makes sense. And that person who's applied themselves fully, who has given their time, who's given, sacrificed everything, the years, the money, the debt, everything that they've done to get to the position they have that they're in with that diploma or whatever, or the job or the position that they have now, it's because they dedicated themselves and had enough discipline to go and learn that fully. Pay that person, learn from them. They deserve it, and so do you. You deserve 100%. The best help you can get because if you have the best help, you will see the most success. Yeah, that is very true. Like 100%. Selling, and like selling something at a retail store. There's a retail store for every business on every street. True. But there's some that are higher ratings, some that have lower ratings. Some that have more inventory, some that have less.
Do you think marketing plays a role
I think marketing is more important than most things
in today's time and era?
in any business, especially in today's time.
Okay.
Social media is too available. People are distracted and stuck on social media. So whatever they're seeing and whatever their algorithm is picking up on that they're attracted to is what they're going to keep being fed.
Yeah.
You're going to eat whatever you're fed.
That is true.
And whatever you're eating, it's what you become.
True.
You know, if you eat a bunch of crappy food with high trans fat, this, that, whatever, you're going to become a fatty person. You eat a bunch of healthy food, you're going to become a healthy person. So you are what you eat. You know what I mean?
That is true.
And if you're being fed something that's really not what aligns with you, then it's a distraction.
Very true.
So the marketing plays a huge part. And I think that what sets me apart from other business people, and in not a negative or positive way, but personally, I like the psychology of business. I like to understand what makes a person do what they do. And taking that into consideration, I try to give them more than they ask or more than they would want from something.
Yeah.
So that's where my 5-star service comes from.
Interesting. Yeah. And I want to go back to, I know you mentioned AI.
Yeah.
So do you think AI will be helpful to create more opportunities in the future or even now? Or is it going to turn into competition?
I have mixed perspectives on it. I will say this, if you don't have some involvement and some interest in AI now, you will fall behind. Like, AI is the way of the future. Like you said, things are available on the internet. People don't Google anything anymore. For about 20-something years, 30 years, it was always Google it. Now it's like ChatGPT, GPT, ChatGPT, check chat.
Yeah.
It's just, you see that, right? Like when Google happened, it was the first of its kind, and it evolved an entire type of mindset. Now we're seeing it happen with AI right there on the simplest level. One of the fastest, I think, if not the fastest, and don't quote me on this, but if not the fastest, one of the fastest growing companies is OpenAI, which is ChatGPT. The most downloads, the fastest download rate ever.
Yeah. I mean, it tells you everything.
It does.
And so relating back to that, do you think people that are in the business field right now in the industry, creating their own wave, whatever it might be, with clothing, cannabis, or real estate, or whatever it is, right?
Sure.
Do you think AI will, cause them to struggle a bit more? Or like, you think it's going to...
I think AI is going to help small businesses heavily
grow,
because maybe they can't afford the employees or the labor or the assistants that they
But you don't think
have.
AI is going to be expensive?
It might be. But at the moment, it's not, because it's accessible and it's open. A lot of it is open source, which means when something is uploaded open source, anybody can access that information
easily.
And AI is all open source.
True.
So it's available. It's just about applying yourself and putting in the time.
Yeah.
And trying to learn it and making sure that it actually benefits you the way you need it to. Now, I will also say AI is going to cause a lot of job disparity as well as a reduction of a lot of jobs. People will lose their jobs. And it's unfortunate, but whoever can master AI will always have a job.
Yeah. So the next, I guess, industry to be
robotics and
yeah.
AI. Those two things, as you guys, everybody who sees anything, that's where things are going. But it's about noticing, one, what it is, and then two, how people are using it. Yeah. And then learning and understanding that part of it, and then applying that to how you can use it, whether it's for your business or someone else's business.
Interesting. And as far as industry goes, I know you have a lot of different industries that you're in.
Sure.
What industries do you think, like, from now, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, are going to be the hottest? Do you think there's going to be something hot, or is always changing every year?
I mean, that's the good thing and the beauty of life, that, there are constant pivots. But my main two would be AI and robotics for the next 5 to 10 years. That's where everyone's
100%.
attention should be.
100%.
But also understand what those businesses are doing and why they're valuable. Like, why is robotics valuable? Well, one, it's making someone's life more convenient and easier by maybe having a home robot that handles a lot of their cooking, cleaning, normalized stuff.
Which it's crazy in Japan, I think, or China. I might be wrong. they have AIs robot that
Both, I believe. Both
yeah,
places.
yeah, that they have like they make the coffee, they make the food, they
Clean
do
your
everything.
food, they
Yeah.
cook. Literally, yeah, like literally do your
So
laundry.
maids,
But also just assisted care. You
assisted
know
care.
what I mean?
Oh,
Like,
that would be awesome.
You know,
Yeah.
like anything. Like it's
Yeah.
just an additional resource that people can make the most of.
Yeah.
To free up their time. You know,
Mhm.
again, like although time is really, does time really exist? I don't know. You know, like we just see the sun come up and go down, but like time was, somebody said this is the time, this is how it works using the sun.
Yeah,
Okay, fine. All of it makes sense, sure.
The Mayans.
But does time really exist? Or are we just in an infinite loop of just life and death?
Yeah.
You know?
Are we living in a virtual reality?
I don't know. You know, like
No,
I'm not.
that's what they talk about.
Yeah, I mean, you know, if you stop by Lemon Cannabis and pick up some of our products, maybe we could have that type of conversation.
You got to plug it in. You got to plug it in.
Nah, but you know, the reality is, we're here to just exist.
100%.
You know, and you have a certain amount of time to do that,
and to make it worth your while.
And everyone's, yeah, for sure. But the definition of what's worth it to anyone's while is their own perspective. You know, perspective
yeah,
is very important in this world.
I mean.
But
yeah,
yes, but you only have so much time.
Yeah.
You know, to accomplish what you can and to gain more time. AI, robotics, these things are helping people do things faster and more efficiently.
Yeah.
Which I think is why it has so much value. You know, if I can figure out the law from ChatGPT without contacting my lawyer, well, I save that hourly rate that I'm going to get billed.
So true.
You know,
it's crazy because ChatGPT helped me make my contracts, my legal contract.
Yeah, and I would eventually make sure that you still have an attorney to review your contracts to make sure that they're suitable.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, if they're telling you that they're suitable or they're requesting or suggesting changes,
asked and they said this is who did this for you.
There you go.
I was like, don't worry about it. It's one of the top lawyers.
Yeah, and you can see right there, you know, that's less business that you're giving to a human.
Yeah,
you know? So like that's where the pivot and shift is going to happen.
Crazy.
So you need to be able to maybe come up with some sort of AI solution for someone's everyday problem.
100%.
And again, you know, one of the most important parts of business is to understand what your consumer really needs.
Yeah.
Solve a problem, do it well,
and
do it the best you can, and you're probably going to make
100%. Yo, so I know as a human being, everyone goes through ups and downs, struggles, and all of that. There's slow and fast days and their moments in their life.
Yep.
How do you stay motivated during your slow or difficult period?
Discipline.
You
know, just got to remind myself that, you know, why you're doing this, you know, have a purpose, know your why. Why am I doing what I'm doing? Yeah. And remember your why in your darkest times and pray.
Yeah.
You know, pray to see the light again. You know, and I've had some very dark days. I've had some super bright days. But no matter what, they're all days.
Yeah.
Right? So it's all just time and existence. I can dwell on the issues or I can try to solve it. And you just got to be positive. You know, you have to have that discipline to tell yourself that everything's going to be all right. The sun is always going to shine. The clouds are always going to clear up. And you have to believe in yourself. You have to have that delusional faith that no matter what I do, I'm going to be the best at whatever it is that I choose to do.
Yeah.
And if you have that faith and that confidence, it takes you to another level.
Yeah.
You know, it supersedes everything that you're being told, all the distractions. It's just, I'm going to make this work. And when you believe in it as deeply as you should, you're going to see the results.
Yeah.
You know, everybody wants to just, they're doing things for dollars. Do it for the impact. What change can I make from what I'm doing? How can I impact more people? How many people will be impacted by it?
Is that a legacy that you want to leave? That's other question.
All I want to do is what, like my impact is my most important thing. That's my legacy, is how many people will I influence? How many people will remember that I did something positive for them without asking for something back? How many people will be able to say, man, like that person really impacted my life. He really made a change for something I'm doing. He really helped me, whatever it was with. Wow, he taught me this.
Giving good, true feedback, genuine feedback.
Honesty.
Yeah,
you know,
honesty.
transparent. Because like, I don't care to lie to you. What am I going to gain from lying to you? I'm going to make you feel better.
That is true.
Forget that. I want to impact you in a way that actually makes a difference in your life. I'd rather make you question everything you're doing every day and then decide what's right or wrong, but force you to make that decision rather than you being delusional the wrong way where you just think, oh, everything is fine, I'm going to be okay, things are going to work
Yeah,
out.
there's a good way to give advice and there's a bad way.
For sure.
Yeah,
and
makes sense.
The best way is just being honest. Tell people what they need to hear. Obviously, depending on the relationship you have with them, don't just walk up to a stranger and tell him he should change his outfit because he looks stupid. You know what I mean? Like, but telling somebody that their outfit looks cool and it's different.
Yeah. Kind of motivates them.
Doesn't hurt.
Doesn't hurt. Yeah.
You know?
Being transparent. Yeah.
Right.
Yo, today's podcast was actually mad interesting. I mean, you're the most interesting guy I know and the most knowledgeable. Last question. We're going to end this with this question. It's going to be, if someone were to start a business today, tomorrow, next week, what's the first step that you think they should take?
Call Monty, the business consultant, and he'll help you out. No. That's like your fifth step.
Yo,
your first real step.
Where can they find you?
To be honest, my consulting business is referral based only. I don't try to market it.
So hit me up.
I can only do so much.
And I could get you to him.
You know, I only like to help certain people because I only have so much time. You know, the people who I really believe that are delusional and see the success in their journey and what they can accomplish, and they just need the right guidance or steering. Those are the people I want to help the most, and I want to help the people closest to me and my inner circle the most first before I start to build the agency bigger. Like I have other consultants that work by my side. You know, I don't like to say anybody works beneath me or not. We all work together. You know, I need them to handle certain things. You know, like one of my best friends, Sonny, he handles more than anybody could ever imagine. And he's really good at that. But what I handle, I'm really good at. And we work well together. You know, I have many other friends that I could name, but everyone is good at what they handle. But my point is, I would make sure that if you're starting something, the first step is to do your homework. Yeah. Understand the industry that you're penetrating. Understand the real statistics about that industry. And then figure out what space in that industry you want to carve out for yourself. Figure out how you want to make a difference and then what it takes to make that difference. Once you understand that, now you start plan. Make a good plan. Yeah. Understand what the goal of the business is. Is the goal of the business to make this a hobby and just do this because I love it and I just need it to make enough money for me to survive? Or is it to make it actually fruitful and lucrative? If that's the case, then you need to plan out the finances, understand the budgeting, understand what your costs are going to be, understand everything that it takes to start your business and how much of a financial burden, mental burden, physical burden, all of that it's all going to take on you. Calculate that, write it out, bring it to life. Don't just think about things. Don't just type it in your phone. Write it on a piece of paper. Bring it actually to life. Yeah. The second my pen touches my paper, I've created something. I've created whatever it is that I wrote down. I'm going to make that happen one way or another because that's what this life is. You can do anything that you really set your heart to if you really apply yourself to it. Yeah. So make your plan. Understand your why you're doing what you're doing, and remember your why. Make sure your why is the most important thing, that I'm doing this because I want to create a better life for myself and my family. I'm doing this because I want to be the best basketball player ever. I'm doing this because I want to be the best podcaster ever. Know your why. I'm doing what I do so that I can impact the most amount of lives in the long run. If that means I have to do just a small amount of lives today, that's okay. I know my journey is going to be one day I will impact millions of people, if not billions of people. I would love to impact the whole world if I could, in a better way, of course. But know your why. Yeah. Do your homework. Make a proper business plan. Then execution is probably the most important thing. That everything before the execution, so many people do. Yeah. It's the execution where people, I want to use this term loosely, but that's where they start to fail. And because they're afraid to fail, they quit. Yeah. Embrace failure. That's where they contact you for consulting. Maybe. Or they'll just be like, you know what? I can't do this. It's not for me. I'm out. Yeah. But if they do contact, they'll be like, yo, you're right there. You're so close. You just need to understand that this was wrong. This was wrong. Now do this, this, and this. And let's try it this way. And maybe they just need a soundboard. Maybe they just need somebody to speak to about their ideas so that somebody's listening and giving them constructive, real feedback from a different lens. Look at it from a different perspective. Yeah. So your homework, know your why, your purpose, your reason, your planning, then your execution. Now your execution, it's going to have so many failures. but don't let those failures keep you down. Use those failures as stepping stones to build you up. Your failures are only going to be lessons that you can use to build from a foundation that you have no matter what. We all have it in us.
And you can share the knowledge as well.
And you share it, but you also need to gain it from others. And that's where team building is important.
Very true.
Build a team. And don't only just go to your friends and family, because I've built terrible teams and teams that great teams.
Yeah.
And some of the better teams that I've built are ones with random people that I didn't know for years. Everybody wants to do it with their friends and family. And unless they have the same mindset as you, you will not succeed.
True.
And although we all want to make it work, it's very hard.
Yeah.
But once you build your team, you have your plan, you start the execution. And timing is also important. It plays a huge factor into everything, obviously. But assuming the timing's right, because you've done your homework, you know when the timing is right, your execution is important. And then once you start executing, paying the right people, lawyers, CPAs, attorneys, consultants, brokers, whoever you need to pay for whatever part of your industry, pay them. Don't be reluctant to pay somebody for help, because that help will save you 10 times the amount you pay them in the long run of whatever business it is that you're doing.
Yeah.
Now, your execution's happening. The last thing that you need to remember is embrace your failure. You put all of that together, you embrace your failures, you learn from them, you don't fear failure, you hope to fail. Something that should take you, and just to touch back on planning so I don't go too far, but when you're planning, make sure you're planning for tomorrow, a week from now, a month from now, a year from now, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years. Make a full out plan. You don't have to execute all of it, but just make the plan so at least you have a guideline of what you think you should be able to accomplish in that time. Yeah. And then shrink that shit. Yeah. If you think that it's going to take 5 years to accomplish whatever you're trying to accomplish, tell yourself, I need to do this shit in 2.5 years. Yeah. Force yourself to get uncomfortable. Yeah. When you start to get uncomfortable, your body's going to get in that fight or flight, and you're going to fight to try to get comfortable again. Yeah, that is true. You will find that comfort in your failure. Yeah. Or you're going to fail and quit. Yeah. If you're a quitter, maybe business is not for you, and that's the reality.
Don't talk to Monty.
Yeah, no, maybe you should, because you might hear from me that maybe this business, or maybe business in general, is not the best. Yeah. Some people are excellent employees. Yeah. There's people who make $1 million salary from some certain businesses. Yeah, that doesn't mean there's anything wrong with doing that. Yeah. But if you're built to be an entrepreneur, if you're built to lead, if you're built to build, you're gonna do it because it's in you. Yeah. Can you develop it? Of course. But you got to have some sense of wanting it, some sense of why. If you don't have a why and you're just doing things to do it because, he's making money doing it, he's making money doing it, it's going to be tough.
Very true.
You know?
No, and ladies and gentlemen, that's the formula to be the best businessman ever. Yeah, and then free gem, baby. Yeah, free gem.
And the last thing is 5-star service. Make sure, and when I say 5-star service, that means 7-star effort. Yeah. To give a 5-star service, you have to apply yourself more than everybody else, because everyone can do the 5-star. Yeah. Whoever aims for 7 is the one who really gets the 5. Yeah. Yeah. So go above and beyond for whoever's putting food on your table. Go above and beyond for those who support your business. Yeah. Give back to communities. Do the right thing. The more you give in life, the more you get. Yeah. Whether it's the more knowledge, whether it's the more game, whether it's more product, whatever it may be. Yeah. More of whatever they're hoping to get. Those are the places you go back to. Yeah. Understood. You build that loyalty. You build that connection. Care for other people and leave a lasting impression. And that should be your impact.
Yeah. And for those who watched up to this, I don't know how, it's probably an hour and a half now.
I have no
Whatever
idea.
it is.
Yeah.
If you guys watched till the very end, you just got free game. Gems were being dropped today.
Take it home with you.
I'm going to drop effects here. Boom, 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 boom.
Drop them all.
Listen, it was crazy. Yo, I love you, bro.
I love you more, brother.
And thank you for really coming on this podcast and talking about business and, just motivating everybody else out there.
Yeah, and the real purpose here is to motivate you. I want to have an impact on you, and I'm proud of you for doing what you're doing. And I hope this is a start of many different ventures that you can do from what you're trying to do. And I hope this helps you realize that anything is possible.
100%.
We may not have a successful session here. This may not be the most viral video, but guess what? You did it.
Yeah.
You applied yourself.
I learned a lot today.
And there you go.
Thank you for your time.
No problem, brother. My accountant will invoice you.
Yeah. Yo, thanks a lot once again.
You got it, my brother.
Yo, everybody tuning in, make sure you guys subscribe, like, comment, And if you guys want to find us, I'll have all the description in the bio. But for now, ladies and gentlemen, you know what time it is, tea time, and I am officially signing off. Peace.
Peace.